What's going on, guys? It's Cameron, and right now we're jumping into the review for Ultimate Spider-Man issue 58. Now, if you've only just discovered these reviews on my channel, then you need to know that I have set out on a mission to review every single issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, starting from issue 1 all the way up to issue 133 and beyond. And as you can see on screen, we are on issue 58 right now. So if you're just joining us, welcome to the journey of reviewing every single issue. Now guys, before we dive into this issue, I just need to let you know that I have finally added a donate button. Many of you guys have been requesting it to show further support for the channel, and I thank you so much for that. But I also decided to add it because I don't know if you know this, but every single comic review on my YouTube channel, even every single Ultimate Spider-Man comic review, has been funded by myself. And a lot of you guys have been asking me to review other stuff like Old Man Logan, Flash, Batman, DC, Spider-Woman, Silk, and in all honesty, I cannot afford to do that. So that is what the donate button is for. So yeah, it's genuinely if you just want to help the channel out. It's literally just to get more comic reviews out there for you guys. Now I would absolutely hate it if you guys thought you had to do this. You do not have to do this, because in my eyes, you guys being subscribed is good enough for me. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, I just needed to let you guys know about it. So moving on with the video, I seriously recommend that you guys go back and check out the review of the previous issue if you haven't seen it yet, because we had an epic cliffhanger at the very end and it was so good. Some of you guys were just ecstatic over it, and I'm so glad that you was excited for it, and of course you could not wait for the next issue. But here it is. So without further ado guys, let's jump into this issue, let's jump into this review and get on into it. So rejogging our memories all the way back to the previous issue, what happened in it? Well, Spider-Man escaped from Dr. Octopus, he jumped out of the jet. And of course, Dr. Octopus wasn't too happy about that. Now, we also got to see the awesome moment Gwen Stacy discovered that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. She went snooping down in the basement, found the padlocked treasure chest with Spider-Man's costume in it, and that's going to lead to some craziness in the next few issues. But right now we've got Spider-Man popping out of nowhere, taking Dr. Octopus by surprise, and I love how the comic kind of led it up to believe that Spider-Man jumped out of the jet in the previous issue. It gave no sign whatsoever that Spider-Man was still on the jet. So technically, Spider-Man would have just punched a hole in the plane, making it look like that he escaped and then like hid in the bathroom or something. And that suggests just how brilliant Peter Parker's mind is when getting out of serious situations, like being interrogated by Dr. Octopus on a private jet in the middle of the sky. Because obviously Spider-Man didn't have his web shooters, so he couldn't just jump out of the plane because he'll die when he hits the ground. So obviously he thought of the next best thing, which was to punch a hole in the side of the plane to make it look like he escaped, but in fact he just stayed hidden on the plane the entire time. And that is awesome. Now, going into what's happening on screen, I totally didn't expect Dr. Octopus to like full-on wimp out at Spider-Man attacking him. You can really tell that Spider-Man is gaining the upper hand in this fight, and it almost seems like Spider-Man is hardly holding back. I mean, when I was reading this, I genuinely thought Spider-Man was probably going to seriously injure Dr. Octopus at this point. Now, going into Spider-Man's reaction of not being in America anymore was so understandable and very much relatable, because at the end of the day, Spider-Man is still a 15-year-old kid. Even though it seems like he's been Spider-Man for ages, really he's only been Spider-Man for a few months and he's still 15 years old. And if you guys are 15 years old, or if you was 15 years old or something like that, could you imagine going out of the country by yourself, not knowing how to go through an airport or anything like that? You would be absolutely petrified of what to do, especially when you're dressed as Spider-Man. Like seriously, how would you get home? And I love it how Spider-Man thinks that he's going to be grounded for life when Aunt May finds out what's happened, and Aunt May is probably going to kill him for this. So, if you remember my reviews from the previous issue and probably reviews before that, you'll remember me talking about the crazy situations that Spider-Man gets himself in, and it's not intentional, it literally just happens, and this is one of those situations. I mean, Spider-Man has been kidnapped, tortured, interrogated, and flown out of the country to discover that he's in Brazil. And that's not necessarily a normal thing. Like seriously, this doesn't normally happen to the X-Men or Daredevil or Wolverine or anything like that. But no, it happens to Ultimate Spider-Man. I also thought it was brilliant just how Spider-Man's panic is put across the pages. Like you almost feel like he's in genuine panic mode right now. And I love it how Spider-Man's problem with answering questions with the police and stuff like that still goes in Brazil just like it goes in New York. Like he will not stay behind to answer questions at all, because he knows that the police will probably blame him for something or something along those lines. And I think one of my favourite things about this comic is just the genuine humour that pours out of it. Like Spider-Man is just non-stop throwing out little jokes, and just the things that are happening to him are just not normal. Like it's very humorous to see Spider-Man going through all these different things, and the comic just becomes even more ridiculous when Spider-Man is actually in like the luggage area of the plane, and obviously it becomes extremely cold down there, so he ends up wearing some amazing clothes like Santa hats and Hello Kitty t-shirts and stuff, and I thought it was just brilliant how the comic takes it to like another level when it comes to getting Spider-Man into ridiculous situations. Actually, wait a minute, I think I've just realised what makes this comic so great. It's the fact that Spider-Man knows that the situation that he's in is ridiculous. It's almost like he's kind of beating himself up over it, like, sure, it doesn't happen to these guys, but it happens to me because that is my life. And it's almost like Spider-Man is kind of breaking the fourth wall. Obviously, he's not breaking the fourth wall by saying that, but it's almost like he knows exactly what the reader is thinking about when they are reading about his life in the comic. Now, just a bit of caution, guys, don't actually sneak into the luggage compartment of a plane, because I heard that you can freeze to death in there, so yeah, just be careful. I don't know why you would do that, but I'm not taking any chances. So coming up to the final few pages of the comic, one of the things that I just absolutely love about this issue is to make Spider-Man's life even worse, is Aunt May is actually on her way home as Spider-Man is passing her, and I love how Spider-Man just kind of notices her, like he's like, oh, Aunt May, and then he goes, wait a minute, Aunt May? I thought that was hilarious, and especially when he starts hopping traffic, like he starts jumping onto different cars to try and get further away. And if you remember a few issues ago, or a lot more than a few issues ago, we do know that Aunt May was actually seeing a therapist, and she was talking about how she sees Spider-Man absolutely everywhere. For some reason, apparently he lives in Queens, which is right near her, and apparently he caught Uncle Ben's killer, and he just always seems to be around near Aunt May, and it's driving her insane. So to think that she's just come back off holiday and she's miles away from Queens at the airport and Spider-Man is also there, that's a little bit crazy and a little bit stalkerish. Now, of course, the finale, guys, we get another amazing cliffhanger. I didn't mention it because I wanted you guys to see it for yourself, but we get Gwen Stacy holding a gun up to Peter Parker as he walks into his basement as he finally gets home. So not only has he just raced Aunt May home, he's now walked in his Spider-Man costume, and Gwen is waiting there with a gun. And I thought Peter Parker's face was hilarious, because obviously he's been beaten up, but he's all swollen because he's had a tooth knocked out, and he just looks really, really confused. Now, the look on Gwen Stacy's face really put the point across that she absolutely hates Peter Parker right now. She's just discovered that he's Spider-Man, and to make it worse, now she actually has Peter Parker in his Spider-Man costume standing right in front of her, and she's got the gun in her hand. So what's she gonna do? Well, you're gonna have to wait until I review the next issue. Guys, what did you think? Let me know in the comment section below, because I'm gonna be giving this comic a 9 out of 10. Again, if I could, I'd give it a 9.5. It's not quite a 10, but I don't really do 0.5s. Maybe I will in the future, I don't know. But right now, I'm giving it a 9 because this comic was just so much fun to see Peter Parker getting away from this situation, and to be honest, this absolutely ridiculous situation that he's found himself in, and managing to pull it off to the point where he beats Aunt May home. He flies from Brazil all the way home. Then the moment he walks in after he's been beaten up and he's been away overnight, he walks into Gwen Stacy knowing his secret identity and ready to shoot him. Like right now, Peter's life could not get any crazier, and I cannot wait to show you guys what's going to happen in the future. And we're also, after this saga finishes, after the Hollywood saga, we then jump into the saga which has Carnage introduced. So you guys can look forward to that. But until then, guys, I recommend you follow me on Twitter to see what I'm doing with my videos, when a video has been uploaded, which comic I'm reviewing next, and of course when it's being edited, when it's being uploaded, and just to get all the latest in comic book news and updates. And of course you can follow me on my Facebook page to do all that as well. And last but not least, guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button on this video, and I will see you all next time.